Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Vab Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. In this video, we'll be learning how to make this stylish Bubu kaftan with two front patched pockets and a shawl collar edge neckline, which is also known as a built-up edge neckline. If this is something you are interested in learning, please ensure to keep on watching till the end. And if this is your first time here on my channel, kindly click on the subscribe button to subscribe and ensure to put on your notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So let's get right into the video. So I'll be making use of this direct crepe fabric. This is going to be for the main body of the gown, and this will be for the pockets and the neckline. So to get started, I'll fold my fabric into four. We're going to be drafting the front and back together. And to determine the width of the fabric to fold, I'm going to be folding about 25 inches. I'll place 25 inches on fold into four. So I'm going to fold it and show us the next thing to do. So my fabric is on fold, is folded into four. So this is going to be our starting point, which will be the shoulder line. So first I'm going to draw the starting line, which is our shoulder line. So this is our starting line. So this is going to be our center front and our center back. You can see it's folded into four here. So remember I said I was going to fold my fabric to achieve the width of 25. So, and how I determine this measurement is from the center back of my client to the desired sleeve length. And that measurement gave me 23 inches. So plus 2 inches for hemming allowance for the sleeve. So that gave me 25 inches. So that is why I have 25. So right now I have more than that here because I folded the fabric into four. So I'll trim out the excess. So now that this is done, from the shoulder line here, I'm going to come down to mark the bust line. And the bust line I'm working with here is 12 inches. Next, I'm going to mark the hip line. The hip line is 25 inches. And then the full length of the gown is 62 inches. And that's the entire length I have here, plus my hemming allowance of 2 inches. So that's it. So I'll just shift my fabric upwards so that I can mark the full length and then the hemming allowance. So this is our full length and then this is our hemming allowance. So I'm going to use my ruler to straighten out the lines. So here on the shoulder line, I'm going to mark the neck width. I'm using a neck width of 5 inches, so I'll mark 5 inches here. And then here, I'll measure up to 25 inches, which is from the center back to the sleeve length. This is where my 25 inches stops. I'll come down by 1.5 inches for the shoulder slant. Then I'm going to use my ruler to connect to the neck width. Okay, so having done that, now on the bust line, this is the bust line and this is the hip line. So on the bust line here, I'm going to enter the bust measurement of my client divided by 4 plus 3 inches. This gown is supposed to be very free. So the bust measurement of my client is 44 inches, which is 11 when divided by 4. I'll add 3 inches to that measurement. So this is 14 inches here. Then on the hip line, the hip measurement of my client is 50 inches. 50 divided by 4, that's 12.5. I'll add 3 inches to that measurement. And then on the hemline, I'm going to enter exactly what I have here. So everything I have here is about 15 inches. So I'll bring it down. So it's 15.5 rather. So I'll just bring that same 15.5 down to this point. Okay. So now that we have done this, I'm going to go ahead and connect the points using my straight ruler. I'm connecting from the hip to the bust line, and then from the bust line, and from the hip, and then from the hip line to the hem line. Okay. So now this is what we have. So now to create the sleeve opening. So from this shoulder slant, I'm going to come down. The sleeve opening is going to be it's going to be really open. So from this shoulder slant, I'll come down by 11 inches from the shoulder slant here. So this is plus my sewing allowance. So by the time I stitch on 1 inch, I'll be left with 10 inches. So this is 11 inches here. So this 11 inches, I'll connect it to this bust point that I have here. So you can see how I connected it. So I'm not going to leave it sharp to have this four corner shape. I'm going to create a curve here just to curve it and blend it well. So to do that, really simple. You just place your tape here diagonally and mark out 1.5 inches and then just curve it. And you see how I'm using my free hand to curve it. Or you can use your curve to create a nice curve around here. You can see, so this is what we have here. So here at the shoulder slant, I'm going to go up by ½ inch. This ½ inch is going to be my sewing allowance that I'll be using to join the front and back shoulders together. Okay, so now that we have done this, so remember that this is where my 25 inches ends. So let's mark it this way. So taking my measurement from the center front here, you can see that I have 25 inches here. So now at this part, I'm going to go in by 1 inch. It is always good to go in a little around this side so that it gives the sleeve that nice balance. Remember that this is the shoulder to drop, and if this one is exactly the same measurement, to drop lower than this side. I hope you understand that. So from this 25 inches mark, I'll go in by 1 inch. And then I'm going to connect it back to the shoulder slant like this. So now this is the line we're cutting on. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark the neck width. I already have the neck width of 5 inches like I earlier said. So this is our neck width of 5 inches. So the back neck depth is going to be 1 inch. So I'll mark 1 inch. And I'll use my curve to create the neckline. So this is our back neck depth. So for the front neck depth is going to be 7 inches. So I'll come down by 7 inches from the shoulder slant here. So this depends on how deep you want the neckline to be. I think I should use 8 inches. I'll come down by 8 inches. So from this 8 inches mark I have here, I will come in by 1 inch. So what this automatically means, remember my fabric is on fold. So by coming in by 1 inch, that means by the time it is open, I'm going to have 2 inches in total. So I came in by 1 inch. I'll bring in my straight ruler and connect using my straight ruler, connect to this point. So right now we're done drafting our gown. So we'll go ahead and cut it out. We'll be starting with the back so that we can separate the front from the back, and then we'll cut out the front neckline. So from the shoulder slant here, I'm cutting out. So I'll cut out the back neckline. I'm going to leave the front for now. So here are the sleeve. So right now I'm going to separate the front from the back so that we can now cut the front neckline. So having separated the front from the back, just fold carefully, make sure that everything sits well. Iron also so that you have the center front sitting nicely. Okay. So now I'll go ahead and cut out the front neckline. Okay. So this is it. So now this is what our front neckline looks like. So the next thing we're going to do is to cut the fabric we're going to have here on the neckline. It's more like a built-up collar. So to do that, I'm going to measure the neckline. So as it is on fold here, so let's take our measurement. From here to here, you can see I have about 9.5 inches. And then we're going to measure the back. So I'll place on fold also. So we'll also measure the back neckline. And here I have about 5.5. So in front we have 9.5, at the back we have 5.5. So that's a total of 15. Take note that I took my measurement on fold, so I'm going to multiply this measurement by 2 because this is just one side and one side of the front as well. So 15 times 2, that's going to be 30 inches. So now I'll bring in the fabric we'll be using to cut the collar. Okay, so I've gone ahead to cut out the fabric we'll be using for our collar. I placed 2.5 inches on fold. So you can see on fold and see it's folded, and I ironed paper and I ironed hasty to it. This is to give it a little bit of weight so that it sits well on the neckline. And then the width I have here is about 36 inches. Remember that when we measured, our total measurement was about 30 inches. So I made it 36 inches. I'm going to trim out my excess. It's better to have more than to have a shortage. And then I went ahead to cut pockets. The length of the pocket is about 13 inches. And then the width here is 10 inches. So you can see that I folded the pocket already. So this is 13 inches. I folded 1.5 inches here and I folded half inch here. So that is why I'm left with 11 inches. So this is it. So I just folded the sides of the pocket. The upper part of the pocket I folded twice. So I used 1.5 inches so that I can stitch the upper part of the pocket and stitch the other part of the pocket, and then I'll place it on the gown and top stitch it. So now we're done with our cutting. I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and stitch down this part, and then I'll show us how to place it on the gown and we'll top stitch it before we go ahead and continue our sewing. So I'm done stitching the upper part of the pocket. I repeated the same thing for the other side. So now I'll place the pocket on the gown. And to place it on the gown, I'm going to measure from the shoulder here, from the tip of the shoulder to 18 inches. So I'll measure to 18.5 inches because I need half inch for joining the shoulder so that I maintain my 18 inches. So this is 18.5 here. I'll also do the same thing at this side. 18.5 as well. So I haven't measured 18.5. From the side here, I'll come in by the sewing allowance I added. I added 3 inches in total, so I'll just come in by that 3 inches. So this is 3 inches. So from this 3 inches mark I have here, I'm going to place the pockets. I'm going to maintain the length of this 18.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and pin it down. So for this other side, I'm also going to pin it. I'll also come in by 3 inches like I did for the other side. This is 3 inches here. And then I'll place the pocket. Okay, so now that I'm done pinning, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and stitch it this way, and then this way, 3 sides. I'll do the same thing on this side. Then after doing that, I'm going to join the shoulders together on half inch. Then I'll come back and show us the next thing to do. So I'm done joining the 2 shoulders here, and I've also fixed the pocket. So now it's time for us to sew our collar to the neckline. And I've also stitched the collar together so that I can have one piece. You can see I stitched it together so that we can have one piece. Here I have my gum stay. This is a lightweight gum stay. I'm going to iron it to this part where I have the V edged. So I just place my gum stay here. You can either use gum stay or use your paper stay. So having ironed my gum stay, I'm going to hold the neckline. That I'll fold the neckline into two, this V edged part. I'll fold it into two. And then I'm going to notch it diagonally. So remember that I came in, my neckline was 1 inch, right? So it was 1 inch. I'll mark that 1 inch here like this. And then I'm going to notch it diagonally like this. I'm going to notch it diagonally like this. You see? So I'm just going to notch in 1/2 inch. Okay, you see? I'm not in 1/2 inch. So this is what I have now. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to bring in the fabric we'll be using for the collar. So first I'll get the midpoint of this fabric by folding it into two. And then I'll also get the midpoint of the neckline. That's I'll get the center back now. And I'll also notch it here as well. So having notched it, now this is the wrong side of my fabric and this is the right side. So from the right side, I'm going to place the collar. Right side facing right side. And then I'll begin to pin. So already you can see that I notched this point. So I'm going to pin it all the way to the notched point. Okay, you see? So I'll repeat the same thing for this side. So right now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. So I'll start from this part I notched. You can see that I'm leaving this part open. I'll start from this part I notched and sew it round to this other side. It is better to sew from the notch part so that you are seeing where you notched. So I'll be starting from this side. Okay, this is the notch part. So I'm going to sew it round and then I'll come back and show us the next thing to do. I'm done stitching my collar to the neckline. I've gone ahead to press this part. You see? So now this is our collar. So I'm going to place the collar like this. You want to make sure that the shoulders, you want to just make sure that everything is sitting very, very well. Can you see? So this part, this is me just going ahead to align it. You can even pin it down. If you don't stitch this well, it can actually be very stressful. Okay, so you can see I'm also aligning this part and then I'll lay it over like this also. So having placed it this way, can you see how they are overlapping on top of each other? So this is not straight. Can you see? It is not straight. It's slanted, this one and this one slants over it. So now I can now raise it up like this, making sure that it's sitting really well. I can now raise it up like this and pin down this point. And pin it down also like this. Can you see? Then after pinning it down, I'll take this to my sewing machine and stitch on this crease line that my iron formed, because after pressing it, this is the place that my iron formed the crease line. So I'll stitch on it. You can see that the collar, they are not equal. Some parts are longer than some. This part is longer than this and this side is short. This is because this is the part that is slanted. So you want to be very careful and make sure that it sits very well. So I'll take this to my machine and then stitch down this part and come back and show. I'm stitching this part, as you can see. Now I'm going to use my pressing iron to press it down. So you want to make sure that it's well relaxed. Before you go ahead and trim out what you have here, it is always advisable to turn to the front and then check very well and be sure that everything is laying really well. So can you see? So you want to be very sure that your collar is sitting really well. Okay? You see what I have here? You just press it down. Also, so you can see this is what our collar is sitting like. It's really coming out beautiful. So now the next thing I'm going to do, which is optional, if you're okay with just leaving it like this, which I'm even contemplating on doing, I can just leave it like this. But the picture in the thumbnail, I noticed that they chop stitch this part to keep it down. So this depends on how deep you create your neckline. So if the neckline is too deep, you can just go ahead and stitch it so that you just leave this part open for the head to easily pass. But if this is okay for you, you don't have to go ahead and top stitch this part. So this is the part I'm talking about, top stitching. So this is not compulsory, okay? So now I'm going to flip to the back. So the fabric I'm using is a lightweight fabric, so there's really no need for gum stay. This gum stay now has fulfilled its purpose, so I'm just going to cut it out. This is so that the weight of the fabric will be even and let it relax well. You can see? So now that this is done, I can go ahead also and trim out the excess I have here. And this is it. Then I'll take this to my sewing and my weaving machine and weave around this neckline, all these rough parts. I'm going to weave it, and then you can see also that I've hemmed the sides of the sleeve. I've hemmed the sleeve. I also hemmed the other side, and I stitched on 1 inch all the way down, and then I also stitched the hemming allowance. And see, I've also stitched it. So I'm just going to take this to my weaving machine and weave the neckline, give it a good press, and wear it on the mannequin so that you can see the final outcome. Okay, so here we are. This is the final outcome of our gown, and it came out really beautiful. You can see the two patch pockets in front, and this is our shawl collar edged neckline. This came out really beautiful. I enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it and you learned something. If you did, please make sure to like this video, share this video with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Also ensure to put on your notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.